Stop everything you're doing right now. Close the noise. Put down whatever's in your hand. Take a breath. Because what I am about to tell you is not something your mind is ready for. Not completely. Not yet. There is someone in your family, someone who shares your blood, your memories, your childhood table, who has been watching you differently lately. Not with judgment, not with confusion, but with a quiet, sacred kind of knowing. And they haven't said anything yet. They've been sitting with it, turning it over in their hands like a stone that suddenly began to glow in the dark. They know. Not everything, but enough. Enough to change the way they see you. Enough to change the way they pray or think or hope because of you. Because of what you carry, because of who you are becoming. And tonight, or today, or whatever moment this finds you in, something is about to crack open between you and this person. A truth too big to stay buried, a love too wide to stay silent, and tears, real, uncontrollable, unstoppable tears, are going to fall. Not from sadness, from recognition. Part 1. The weight you've been carrying alone. Let's start at the beginning, your beginning. Not your birth, but the beginning of this version of you. The one who started waking up differently. The one who started feeling things too deeply, seeing things too clearly, sensing things before they happened. Do you remember the first time you felt like you didn't belong? Not in a painful way, but in a way that felt almost like a clue, like a whisper from something larger than yourself saying you were not made for smallness. Most people around you didn't feel that. Most people could go through the routine, wake up, work, sleep, repeat, and feel completely satisfied. But you couldn't. There was always something underneath it all, a hum, a pull, a holy restlessness that no amount of distraction could quiet. And because you didn't have the words for it yet, you kept it inside. You smiled at family dinners. You answered questions the way people wanted them answered. You played the role that had been written for you long before you understood you had the power to rewrite it. And slowly, quietly, you began to feel the loneliness that comes not from being unloved, but from being unseen. Your family loves you, that is not the question, but love and understanding are not always the same thing. You can be surrounded by people who would do anything for you and still feel like a stranger at the table, still feel like a piece from a different puzzle that someone is trying to force into the wrong picture. That loneliness has a name. It is the loneliness of the chosen. And it is real, and it is valid, and it is not permanent. Because something is shifting right now, in real time, in the invisible architecture of your relationships, something is moving. Part 2. What it means to be chosen. Before we go further, I need to address something, because the word chosen gets misused. It gets inflated into something that sounds like superiority, like arrogance, like you are better than the people around you. That is not what this is. Being chosen is not about being above others. It is about being assigned something, a specific mission, a specific frequency, a specific kind of ache that won't let you rest until you are fully, completely, unapologetically yourself. The chosen ones are not the loudest people in the room. They are not always the most confident. In fact, many of them have spent years doubting themselves, shrinking themselves, apologizing for how much they feel and how deeply they care. But there is something unmistakable about them. They make people feel seen, even when they are silent, even when they are struggling. Even when they haven't figured out their own purpose yet, they carry something that cannot be manufactured, cannot be performed, cannot be faked. It is a kind of grace that lives in the bones. And your family member, the one this message is about, they have felt it for years maybe. They've watched you go through things that would have broken other people. They've watched you lose and grieve and fall down and then get back up with this quiet, steel-spined resilience that doesn't make logical sense. They've watched you love harder than you've been loved, give more than you've received, stay when everyone else would have gone. And somewhere in all of that watching, the truth landed in them like a seed.
and now it has roots, and now it is about to bloom.
Part 3. The moment they realized. There was a specific moment. There always is. It wasn't a dramatic revelation. It didn't come with thunder or lightning or voice from the sky. It came quietly, the way the most important truths always do. Maybe it was the way you handled a crisis that would have destroyed anyone else. Maybe it was something you said, offhand, unscripted, so honest it cut right through all the armor that people usually wear around each other. Maybe it was the way you showed up for someone at the exact moment they needed it, without being asked, without being thanked, without even knowing how much it mattered. Maybe it was simply a moment when they looked at you, really looked at you, and saw something that they hadn't expected to see. They saw depth. Not the performance of depth, but the real thing. The kind that comes from someone who has sat in their own darkness long enough to stop being afraid of it. The kind that comes from someone who has asked the hard questions about life and meaning and purpose and refused to settle for easy answers. And in that moment, your family member felt something they might not have words for. A combination of awe and grief and gratitude and recognition. Awe because of who you are. Grief because of how long they went without fully seeing it. Gratitude because they get to be related to you. And recognition, the deepest kind, because somewhere in you, they see reflected back a version of themselves they always hoped was possible. You, chosen one, are someone's proof that extraordinary is real. You are someone's evidence that the human spirit can carry more than anyone thought possible and still choose love. Part 4. What they want to tell you. If your family member could sit across from you right now, if they could find the words they've been holding back, here is what they would say. They would say, I see you. Not the version of you that makes things easy, not the version of you that shows up polished and put together and doesn't ask for anything. The real version, the tired version, the version that cries alone in the bathroom because you don't want to burden anyone. The version that sometimes wonders if any of this is worth it. The version that has given so much that some days you don't know who you are when no one needs you. They see that you, and they love that you, completely without condition. They would say, I'm sorry it took me so long. Because the truth is, they were not always equipped to receive you. Your depth asked things of them that they didn't always know how to give. Your sensitivity sometimes made them uncomfortable, not because it was wrong, but because it reflected parts of themselves they hadn't yet been willing to face. Your gifts sometimes looked from the outside like problems, like being too much, feeling too deeply, caring too intensely. They know now that none of those things were problems. They were previews. They would say, you changed me. Not with a speech, not with a lesson, just by being who you are consistently in the face of everything that tried to make you less. By refusing, even on your worst days, to become bitter. By choosing again and again and again to lead with your heart, even when your heart had been broken. You changed them. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Part 5. The tears that are coming. And now we arrive here, the part that is going to happen if it hasn't already. There is going to be a conversation or a moment or a look across a room that says more than words could. And in that moment, something is going to break open between you and this person. Not break apart, break open. Like a seed cracks open before it grows, like a chest cracks open before the light gets in. And there are going to be tears, uncontrollable ones. Not polite tears, not the kind you dab away with a napkin while keeping your composure, the ugly kind, the kind that come from somewhere so deep inside you that you didn't even know the feeling was there until it was already on your face. These tears are not sadness, though they may feel like it at first. They are release. They are the physical expression of a truth that is too large and too important to be carried silently any longer. You have been waiting, without knowing you were waiting, for someone in your family to see you, really see you, to acknowledge the journey, to witness the weight, to say with their whole heart, I know what you carry, and I honor it. And that moment is coming. Or maybe as you were reading this right now, you can feel that it has already arrived. Maybe you are the one who is going to initiate this. Maybe you are the one who is going to finally speak the truth you've been holding. Because the chosen ones, when they are ready, do not wait to be found. They step forward into the light and say, this is who I am. All of it. Are you ready?
Part 6. The healing that follows. Here is what no one tells you about truth-telling within families. It is terrifying before it happens, and it is sacred after. The moment you and this family member move through this conversation, this revelation, this recognition, something will shift permanently in your relationship. You will not be able to go back to the way things were, but you will not want to. Because what comes after is something most families never find. It is intimacy, true intimacy, the kind that is only possible when two people have seen each other's shadows and chosen to stay. When they have said the hard thing, cried the ugly cry, and come out on the other side holding hands. It is a new kind of trust, one that has been tested and proven. One that doesn't need to be performed or protected because it has already survived. And for you, chosen one, this is not just a family healing, this is a personal healing. Because one of the heaviest things you have been carrying is the belief that your truth is too much for the people who love you. That who you really are, the full, complex, luminous, sometimes broken, always striving version of you, is something that must be hidden or softened or apologized for. This moment will begin to lift that belief out of you. It will not do it all at once. Healing never works that way. But it will plant something new in the place where that old story used to live. It will plant the undeniable, witnessed, fully felt evidence that you are loved, not in spite of who you are, but because of it. Part 7. A message to the family member. I want to speak directly now to the person in your life who is about to take this step, who is gathering their courage, who has been holding this truth for too long and is finally ready to let it speak. To you, the mother, the father, the sibling, the aunt, the uncle, the cousin, the grandparent, whoever you are, thank you. Thank you for paying attention when it would have been easier to look away. Thank you for allowing yourself to be changed by someone else's light. Thank you for choosing vulnerability over pride, and love over comfort, and truth over the safety of silence. What you are about to do is brave. You may not feel brave. You may feel terrified and exposed and completely unsure of how the words will come out. That is fine. That is actually the sign that this is real, because the bravest things we do are always the ones that make our hands shake. But I want you to know, the person you are about to speak to has been waiting for this. Maybe they don't know it consciously. Maybe they have convinced themselves they don't need this. But somewhere deep inside them, in the place they don't talk about out loud, they have been waiting for exactly this moment. For you to see them, for you to say it out loud, for the love between you to stop being implied and start being declared. Go to them, today, this week. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is the one in which you decide it is time. Bring your honest voice and your open heart and whatever imperfect words you can find, and go. The tears you will share will be the most important conversation your family has ever had.
Part 8. You were never broken. I need to say this before we close, because I know there is a part of you, a quiet, persistent part, that has spent years believing you were the problem, that your sensitivity was weakness, that your intensity was too much, that the reason certain relationships felt hard was because something in you was fundamentally flawed. Listen to me now. You were never broken. You were always exactly what you were meant to be, but you were living in spaces that hadn't yet grown large enough to hold you.
You were speaking a language that the people around you hadn't yet learned. You were operating on a frequency that most people around you couldn't tune into, not because they didn't love you, but because they hadn't yet done the work to hear it. That is changing. One family member at a time, one conversation at a time, one uncontrollable, sacred, world-shifting set of tears at a time. The chosen path is not a path away from your people. It is a path back to them, but as your fullest, truest, most undefended self. It is a path toward relationships that can hold your whole story, not just the edited version. A path toward love that doesn't require you to shrink. You have been walking that path, even when it felt like wandering, even when it felt like being lost. Every step has been bringing you here, to this moment, to this truth, to this person who is ready to finally say out loud what they have known for a long time in their heart. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. You have always been exactly enough. If this message found you, if something in these words landed in your chest like it was written specifically for you, I want you to know that it was not an accident. You were guided here. And the person in your life who is about to show you how seen you truly are, they were guided too, toward you, toward this moment, toward the truth that is going to change everything between you. Before you go, drop 99 in the comments if you felt this in your soul. If someone came to mind while you were reading, if your eyes filled up before you even got to the end. Because somewhere right now, your person is reading the same message, and they are thinking of you, and they are getting ready to tell you something that is going to make every hard season you've walked through make perfect sense. The truth is coming, and it is beautiful, and so are you. Share this with the family member who needs to hear it. You already know who it is.